Hello everyone, Ryan from Avatar Aquatics. Welcome to another video. Today we are talking about my Namdakmai mango tree that I received earlier, and we are going to do two main things. Number one is to cut the tip of this tree off, as well as repot this tree so that it has adequate room to grow for the rest of the growing season. And I'm going to cut it somewhere in the middle so that later down the line it'll have multiple branches out from this cut, and that way we'll have a much bushier tree and has more branches with more leaves and more fruit. So you can already see 2 days later the buds are starting to swell up, and that's what we're waiting for the rest of this growing season. The growing season for me probably ends around September to October as things start to get cooler, and then I'll have to move them inside. Take a look at my watermelon trees. Well, I guess they're more like vines. They're super cute, and I'm going to repot these two later because they're starting to get a little cramped. Anyways, on to the trimming. So it's always a little bit of a pain to cut a tree and trim it, but make sure you are sterilizing your shears so that there's very little risk of fungal infections. And I do it at a slant so that if it rains, the rainwater isn't going to pool on the tip where we cut it and potentially cause a fungal or bacterial attack. So this slant will let the water drip out. Looking back, I think I probably should have cut this below this growing node here, and that way the branches will branch out at different parts and make the tree stronger, whereas if I cut it here, there's going to be multiple branches coming off at the same place and potentially weaken the tree at here. But there's nothing really to do after I cut it. So now it's time for the repot. At the very bottom, I put a little bit of mulch. This helps in keeping the bottom of the pot very, very dry and improve the drainage. So that way the water isn't going to be soaked up at the very bottom and potentially cause root rot, because that's one of the biggest things that mangoes are susceptible for. So I make sure there's a little bit of mulch at the very bottom, and let's go mix the actual soil. For the soil, I'm using 3 different ingredients: regular garden soil from Miracle-Gro, a perlite mix, as well as peat moss. The garden soil will provide a lot of nutrition for the actual plant itself, and then the perlite is going to increase our drainage. It's going to help let that water drain out so it doesn't collect at the bottom of the pot, like I said before. And then lastly, the peat moss is going to acidify the soil, which is what mangoes like, and we're also going to have some sort of water retention, so that although we have the perlite letting the water drain through, we still want enough water in the pot to last the mango between watering it. I don't want to water this mango every single day, especially during the hot season where the pot could get really, really hot and we could cook the roots on our mango tree. So we want to make sure that we allow both a little bit of water inside and let that plant lose that water or use that water slowly. Onto the repotting itself, I always make sure that I save this little tag from the mango so that if I ever have any doubt on what kind of mango it is, I will be able to look at the tag and check really quickly, because I look forward to getting more mangoes in the future. I'm going to take the entire mango and kind of just tip some of the soil over that isn't loose at all. I'm going to hold that root ball really, really carefully to make sure that it doesn't break or crack anything on the mango itself. And I saw a little bit of roots at the very bottom, but not that much, so perhaps the mango could have taken a little bit more weeks in the original pot, but since we already took it out, it's whatever at this point. What is done is done. So for now, I'm just going to put that back into the bigger pot. Notice that I'm not using too big of a pot right now. I'm just growing up the mango into the next size over and then filling up with the soil that we just made. I'm not going to break the root ball in any shape or form, because that is going to really, really hurt our tree. So that's it, guys, for this video. We did a really successful transplant and pruning, and this is probably going to be the last update of the growing season. I'll make another update once we bring this back into the house for the winter, and I'll see you guys next time on my channel.